going to take you through a tutorial for squat form as well as lunge form. We want to be able to eventually carry our own body weight in squatting as well as lunging. So we better have good form before we actually do that. And so if you'd like to do this with me, feel free. We'll have our feet about hip distance apart, parallel. Good, and we'll find really good form here in our standing position. You can take your hands on your hips if that's okay. And these hip bones are where all your abdominals are connected as well as the bottom of the ribs. So feel like you're pulling your hip bones towards the bottom of the ribs and you're scooping out your abs, and that drops the tail, and it should feel good, lengthening the lower back. Sliding the shoulders down, and then bring your chin back in space so you're really lined up here. Now you'll inhale, prepare, keeping your spine really straight. You're going to exhale, go ahead and squat down or take your tail back, and actually the knees come forward. So in this form, what you want to see is the back angle or your spine angle the same as your shin angle. And what that tells you is that there's equal amount of distribution of your force between your ankle, your knee, and your hip. And then let's go ahead and come back up. Yeah, so we'll do a couple of those. So knees go forward as your hips back, as opposed to something like this. Notice that the shin angle is no longer matching the angle of the spine, and I'm feeling a lot in my lower back. But as soon as I make that equal with my spine, then all the weight gets distributed equally, and I'm able to really support my spine with my abdominals and then stand up. And that just takes a bit of practice to kind of hit that position each time you squat down, and then you come back up. Yeah. And so let's go ahead and exhale down, and then inhale, standing up. Now, it is a lot of work for the glutes, so feel your glutes stay active, particularly here, but they also stay active here. You're just working them in what we would call eccentric contraction, so lengthening, but they still stay engaged. And you're reaching just a little bit forward if that's okay. Yeah. And then keeping the shoulders in a good position along the back. And let's take about 4 more, and you can exhale here. Inhale, standing up. Exhale, inhale, keeping the knees, or you're getting that stretch in your ankle. Good. So the knees go forward as your hips go back, distributing the work in all 3 powerful joints of your lower leg. And then eventually you would want to add weight to that, starting with a small weight. I just have some 5-pound weights here. And one way you can do that is just holding them in your hands. Yeah, and then you would just kind of reach them slightly forward and coming back up. Yeah, so just adding a little bit of weight. Eventually we want our body weight, or be able to hold our own body weight or lift our own body weight. Yeah, so I wouldn't recommend anything on your neck unless you have somebody that's spotting you. So some people put a pretty heavy weight on their shoulders or upper neck, and then that way you can also work with a little wider stance as well to distribute the work a little bit more. But this is a really great way to start off squatting, really taking care of the angles of your lower leg joints. Yeah. And then you can also do some bicep curls as you go into your squat here. Yeah. So exhale, bicep curl, inhale, lengthen, coming up, exhale. Good. So good to have strong legs. Yeah. The more muscle that you do have, not only in your legs, but your whole body, the more energy you have. Yeah, your metabolism picks up, and you have more energy, particularly in the slumps of the day, like mid-afternoon or mid-morning. Yeah, so stronger muscles keeps us stronger throughout the day. Let's do 4 more here. And inhale up, exhale, 3. Good, keeping equal amount of weight through the heel and the ball of the foot, 2. Good, and then we'll do 1 more, down and bringing it all the way up. Really good. Okay, so now for your lunge, which is another really important functional movement that if we're if we walk, we actually will hit kind of our lunging position. So both of those are exaggerated movements, but it develops the muscles that we need in order to sustain us through our functional movement as well as keep our joints really healthy. So for your lunge, you'll get into at least a 2 foot, if not a 3 foot span between your legs. And I have been known to get a tape measure out to measure the space between your feet. So you do want to work your way up to about 3 feet because the longer your stride is throughout your life, the healthier that you will remain, as well as the healthier your joints would be. And so to practice kind of the lunge position, you'll be laid flat on that front foot, and then you're high on the ball of the back toe for your back foot. And you want to square your hips off, which does require abs here, and then the glutes are firing. Yeah, and then you want to drop your weight straight down in your legs, yeah, so that you're not going forward or too far back, but both knees are bending equally. And then both feet push straight up. And so you exhale to lower down and then inhale to lengthen and engaging the glutes throughout. A lot of work for the quads. Yeah. But if the glutes aren't working here, on this one in particular, the quads really start to burn quite a bit, and then you just can't do as many. So once again, you're distributing that work between your major joints as well as muscle groups throughout the lower leg, keeping the shoulders down, any tension out of the neck and shoulders. And then, of course, we keep breathing. Exhale. Inhale. And exhaling. Good. Let's do one more on this side. And exhaling. Good. Inhale to lift and then coming back in. So a stationary lunge is really good to practice initially and then turning that into walking lunges, which will be a different video. But when you're starting to add weight here, let's go ahead and I'll do that on the other side if you'd like. So different side of the body, different story. So we always have to do a setup here. So your legs are hip distance apart, both are parallel. I'm high on the ball of the back foot. Heel is lifted, and then I'm anchored through that front foot, drawing the abdominals in and up. Lots of glutes, shoulders down, head back, little bit of everything here. And then distributing your weight equally right down between both legs and pressing up. Good. Keeping your glutes nice and fired, keeping your abs working, and shoulders back and down. Good. And adding as much weight as you can, kind of make sure that you can do with good form, but also make sure your abdominals are working here as well as shoulder girdle. Yeah. So the more you do add to your body, kind of the stronger all these different parts need to be in order to be able to hold the weights, yeah, as well as the abdominals. So getting your core work in, so that's nice and strong, so that when you do these functional movement patterns, you're not hurting your back or your shoulders or your neck over time. Yeah. Then we'll do 4 more here on this side. Exhale and inhale, lift. Exhale, inhale to lift. Let's do 2 more. Good. And good, nice, strong abdominals throughout the movement. Excellent. Good. Excellent. Well, I hope that was helpful. And please refer to the video anytime you need to.